What's going on, guys? I wanted to update everyone on this bike. I know that I had alluded to it, maybe put a couple of shorts in there about it, but I wanted to talk about it, what my plans are for it, what I've done to it so far. This is a 1990 KLR 250. I think they made these bikes from the mid 80s up until, I believe, 2005. 90 model. I'm not 100% sure if this one made the cut for the engine change, but I know they stayed in 90 that they went from a 28 horsepower engine to a 23 horsepower engine. I don't know what they changed. As far as what made the power drop, I would imagine it had something to do with emissions. The bike feels more powerful to me than a 23 horsepower bike, so it's hard to say. Pick this thing up on Craigslist. It is in relatively really good condition considering how old this bike is. And excuse my clutter in here, I'm in the middle of cleaning up. Damage to the bike beyond just normal scratches and whatnot. There's some dents in the tank here, another pretty good one here. I don't know how this happened other than the fact that maybe it had fallen over because both of the radiators were crushed in. I've got some used radiators that have come in. I'm going to put those on there, flush the coolant. The coolant looks relatively new, but I'm going to go ahead and flush it anyway. I've already done a service on the engine. This bike, when I bought it, I think it had under 3,700 miles on it. So 3727, so 3,700 mile bike from 1990. That's really low mileage. I've already started doing some things to the bike. As you can see, the factory plastics, the factory seat, the factory tool bag, there's nothing wrong with it other than the tank that I pointed out. I can't see any oil leaks on it anywhere. All the wiring, hoses, suspension, brakes. The chain, I think somebody upgraded to an O-ring chain. Maybe it come with one. I'm not 100% sure. I have not cleaned the bike. It is basically how it was when I bought it. Now, as far as for what I've done so far, I put a set of Tag. Wait a minute. Let me think about this. Tusk. I put a set of Tusk CR high band bars on it. And I found a vintage looking pad. Put that on there. This lever is new. It was broken. I ran into a little bit of trouble with, these are the ODI grips. If anybody's watched any of my videos, they know I like them. So I picked the cam out. It didn't give a cam for this bike. I picked a cam out that looked proper. But as you can see, it does a little bit of sticking. I'm going to take that back apart and lubricate it. That's not exactly safe. I think it'll be fine once I put some lube in there and then run it a little bit. I've got to get everything mounted properly. It's kind of still hanging. The factory master cylinder's a little rough looking. It's still working. The bike rode and functioned fine. But I don't like that. For as good as condition it is, I'm going to replace a few things, make it look better. But I've got a new master cylinder coming. New lever will be on this side as well. I've got some new blinkers. Some of these are okay. Some of them are drooping and broken. That one looks a little rough. Got some to replace that. I got a stainless steel brake line. This looks to be the original brake line, and since I'm going to bleed the brakes and put new fluid in it, I might as well upgrade that to a metal line. It wouldn't hurt. I showed you guys this a second ago. The gauges are beautiful. Everything works. Temperature gauge works. This is a liquid cooled bike. So once I get a little spare time, I was draining the coolant today while I was trying to clean up the garage, even though it still looks terrible. I'm going to get the fluids back in this thing. I'm going to get radiators back on it. Get the handlebar situation fixed. Probably not going to put mirrors back on it. If I keep the bike, this is going to be a trail bike. I will run it on the road, so I'll keep it legal. And overall, it's a cool bike. It's got a lot of power, especially when you get it up in the RPM. Big old fat, comfortable seat. Factory exhaust looks like they've gutted. And the bike to me smells like it's running really rich. I got a new OEM air filter, so I have not taken the seat out to look what kind of airbox situation we have going on right now. It could be opened up too much. We'll see when I get in there. I would like to get it a little bit leaner to keep it from getting so black back here. It looks like this has been getting a little hot, so If I decide to keep the bike, I'll probably put an aftermarket silencer on it to get rid of this one. Other than that, nice solid bike. I was happy to get it. It is a kickstart only bike. I'm going to do a full maintenance run through on it. I noticed some things like the gear shifter is loose. I'll tighten that up, do a full maintenance on the chain and sprockets. There's not enough mileage on the bike for anything to be wore out. So hopefully I'll get her back together, and if she runs out good for me, I'll keep it, run it around. I'd like to get a brand new YZ 125X as my kick around trail bike, but I'm not a dirt bike rider, guys. I'd rather be on a sport quad. So haven't made my mind up on that. You can see the little navvy over here. We got 2 of those dudes. Haven't done videos on them, but they're a lot of fun. But any of you guys out there that are rocking the old KLR 250, shoot me a comment. Tell me what you think, how long you've had it, stuff like that. I'd love to hear from you. Appreciate it, guys.